What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys survived Little Bear Day yesterday. We did throw one in every now and then. It's okay. It has to happen. We can't go all green, but today we are getting a little jump start in a positive direction. What's even more positive? We got Alan House. Good morning to Albert, Amy, Andrew. We got Brian, Christopher. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning. We got Eric, George, JP. The squadron's here. We got Jay Linder, Joe, Joseph, Lauren, Marius. Good morning to you. We got Richard Jet, YouTube land. Good morning to Joel, Ivan, Daniel. Good morning. All the other lurkers in the background of YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button because it just makes me feel good. It gets my day going. I don't know. That's gonna be my new currency. It's just gonna be the like button. That's it. That's it. I charge nothing on the YouTube except for likes. So one like gets you access. But let's see what is going on with the SPY. SPY is gapping up a little bit, still mid-range of yesterday, so we got to watch the zone. But as long as, for me at least, we stay above 456.19, that is going to be my first little test. I'll even, 456.19, essentially. So we are slightly above support. If we could hang on to that range, we could continue with a little bit of bullish momentum. That could take us back into the 458.83. What is interesting about yesterday, we've now already hit that VPOC. So even though it was a short and sweet, short-lived moment, I remember like it was yesterday. They don't make Hallmark cards about it, but we did hit that once. So the next push up, I think, becomes a little bit easier to break. So there's my bullish case that we can continue to make new highs for the year, as long as the data just remains positive. So we had jobless claims today. They kind of came in line for what was expected. I think they came in a little bit lower. Market rallied, not really so much over that, but we were already rallying before the numbers came out. Not really a big move there, and then just kind of continued the trend up pre-market. So just hanging out. But again, as long as we hang on to that level, we're smack right into a decent heavy volume area. So I would expect a little bit of back and forth, but really looking for all the closes on it. I'll even give it 456. Let's just hold 456 and I'll call that a win. And then maybe we could continue to break higher. If we start to lose that, the next support becomes 455.39. We've hit that multiple times. We've been getting some bounces off these areas, but essentially we could head all the way back down to 454.30. That's also a level we've hit before, and if we start to get a little bit uglier in the market, we could see closes like 452.96 and drop further. So lots of room on both sides. We definitely have some moving averages pretty far extended from this. I think if we remain in this chop zone, the one thing to watch out for, obviously, is this is a big bearish engulfing candle, and we don't really want to continue to see more closes below it. Otherwise, again, it could get a little bit rough. Let's see the Qs. The Qs still a little bit more choppy. Doesn't have as much room to go, but it does have some room in a bullish direction. I'd be looking for support at 386.77. And then to the higher side, a first stop, which I don't know how important that's going to be. I think we do get held up a little bit, but 388.16. And then the one where I think we start really getting slammed against the wall would be about 389.13. So if we could hit that higher range at least, we should have some decent more room to the bullish case. Let me just see. I got a huge support at 386.84. See if we hit that pre-market at all. 386. That's right into this range. I feel like I'm. What was that number again? Yeah, 386, 386, 86, 81, somewhere in that zone. All the way back down to here. So if we get a little pullback, that would take us into this range. Yep, we got a VPOC from pre-market, VPOC from yesterday, all right there as well. We have a nice little hammer, good volume on it, off of a good volume area as well, and then we've done nothing but go up since. So 24 minutes till open, essentially eternity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish candles in a row. Obviously, I don't know where this stops. But if we get a pullback, that is a untested hammer pre-market coming into a pretty high volume area as well. So if we get a pullback, that's where I would expect that to come into. Let's see if we can make any pivots prior to that would really hold us up maybe a little bit higher, but that is one that has not been retested yet. We got Google, AMD, Bitcoin, please. I mean, you asked so nicely. Yep. If you guys have any tickers, throw them into the chat. We could definitely cover all those right now. Google, good little gap and go on the Googs. Google unveils Gemini artificial intelligence model. We're throwing AI back on the table. We had the, and we'll get to AMD in a second, but we did have the AMD conference yesterday, and they had a chip designed for AI. So that was throwing the AI conversation back. And now you got Google coming out with some more AI product. It is a gap and go, pretty decent looking gap. You're up $5 on this, and you're sitting at a little bit of resistance. Let's see the pre-market on this one. All those moving averages look fairly bullish. We got the current VPOC at 134.07. Depends on where this opens. If this opens right where we're at now, I would give it a second, see if we get a little bit of a pullback. It might not be a huge pullback, maybe into like 134.53. After that, if I was to play this one long, if I could get a good setup at open, I think we could at least get to 136.65. That would be my range. Otherwise, Google has to start making a new high. I'm talking about the pivot. Otherwise, you're sitting there with a decent looking head and shoulders. All of this could still be a retest, and then we're just kind of in chop zone. So until we start making another new higher high, which we haven't done recently, Google could still be in a little bit of a chop zone. But look for targets. Still got some room to the upside. 136. We'll call it 75, but could be a few pennies lower than that too. If we start to break that one, then we're looking fairly bullish to like 138.50. So those are my two spots on Google. AMD. Their news, or at least their presentation, very dry. I listened to the entire thing. I think my eyes started like crusting over a little bit. They're like, all right, we got the Machiavellian 621. I don't understand any of this, but you guys making me hungry talking about chips all day. But yeah, their conference, it was fairly long. They did have like people from Microsoft, people from Google, people from I think Cisco were there, all just pretty much giving testimonials of how they're working together, how everything is positive, rosy. The market, for whatever reason, and I was kind of waiting for the pricing to come in. I think by the end, I didn't make it all the way to the end. I just couldn't. I tried really hard. Once they got to the Xenon 32, I was like, that's it for me. I can't take it anymore. So it was a very dry conference. That's my opinion, but I don't know chips that well. Anyway, all of the chips are supposed to be extremely fast, great for AI, good for big networks, that's all I got. And then there's like a Temu, and I don't know. It was confusing to me. But yeah, it was a pretty weak close. We got a very good support on AMD. I'm looking at 116.52. Somewhere in that range. If we start to break under that, that's a very good support. We now have 3 days built up in a row. Also a pretty good gap and go. I did buy, and I still have them, but I bought some calls right before that meeting started because just on the basic of my logic, which was dumb, I guess. I don't even know where I got them, but right when it was about to start, or right at the beginning of the conference, I'm like, first of all, it's AMD. They've been bullish. They're talking about a new product. That seems bullish. And then they're going to focus on AI. How many times can they say the word AI in that conference? So I got some calls. They do expire Friday I didn't sell them yet, so I still have them. I think they're like 121 strike for this Friday. I'm definitely up higher than where I got them. But is this going to be enough really to put me back into the profit? I don't know, because there was probably some excitement for that conference too. So we'll see. So I'll be looking to probably to close those out, or maybe we could roll them. Otherwise, this is a really, really good gap for AMD. I'm looking at resistance at 120.48. We've been above that pre-market. I think we got up to I think pre-market we ended up getting into this 121. Yeah, 121.12. We're still sitting on the higher end of the developing VPOC. Developing VPOC is still moving pre-market for us. We've got all of those moving averages below us. And I do think that some people that might have been like, hey, you know what, this is a dud of a presentation. That the biggest thing is the pricing, and I didn't even stay awake for that one. So, like how much is it? Just give us the price. Just send out a catalog next time and save us all some time. But um, whatever happened from the end of day till now, and I think realistically, Lisa Su went on the CNBC and she started actually pumping AMD there and did a better job than. Not that it was a bad job. If you love chips and tech, you probably had a field day with the conference. A normal person, and that's a loosely defined definition of normal person, which is me watching that thing. That was a tough one. But AMD, pretty good gap. Lots of, again, not a lot of buying bullishness here. So I think we are trapping a decent amount of bears. And I want to see if we could maintain, as long as we maintain kind of those moving averages into the open, I think we could go a little bit further bullish. Can we get to the high of the day again? Can we get back to this 122.84? I'm not so sure. I don't know what the range is going to be on this one, but I'm looking, if we do, I think it's going to be short lived, but maybe like 123.07. And if we make a really good run, probably we could get to like 124.40. All depends. The biggest level right now that I'm watching on AMD is that opening price from yesterday. If we can start getting candles to hold above it, again, anywhere above that opening price is where the bears first came in. All of that range is where they're going to try to protect. But you should be trapping a decent amount of people, and as long as we can keep those moving averages in order. When I say that, I mean like keep the smaller moving averages above all the next bigger moving averages. And it looks like we do have a key level coming in 120.51. So let's see if we get past that one first, and see if we can continue to trap some bears and see if we get that bullish push. But I'll throw AMD up higher on the list. We'll also keep Google up there as well. Let me just throw Google up real quick. And then you guys want to take a look at Bitcoin. BTC. Just resting, really. Just resting. We're going to have support on this one at 41,769. That's really going to be our first test. Anything in here is we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of being bullish. Looks like 44,000 is going to be some type of resistance for this thing. And I think this is just a small little pullback. This move got us pretty far away from any of those moving averages as well. So we almost need some of these moving averages to continue to catch up. Even in a longer sense, we could pull back and still be bullish on Bitcoin. Like we could pull back a decent amount. I would even draw a fib from here to here. And a 50% retracement, which I don't really want to see, because then we are starting to break at least some VPOCs down and gets a little bit like, okay, what's going to happen? But realistically, if we hit 39,853, that's the 618. That's still bullish. The 50% is right at 40,669. Again, I'm just drawing rough numbers, but somewhere in that range. So we could still pull back a decent amount on Bitcoin, but still be bullish. But yeah, I want to continue to follow that trend. Right now, we had a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big green days in a row, and now you're getting right now at least two little resting days. The one thing that we have to keep in mind, the weekend is coming. We got to survive today, tomorrow, and the weekends have been bullish for crypto, at least for the last probably few months. Again, I think it's more of, well, the markets are closed and people are feeding to trade something, and crypto is 24 hours. So longer term, we are getting into, we are into a little bit of resistance here. So it makes sense that if it's going to rest somewhere, probably got to be here, but really just looking like a sign of resting at this point, not really looking like a huge pullback yet. Let's see, we got INTC. Larkin says, such likable content. You're a likable chatter. That goes two ways. INTC, but I appreciate that. We got Intel. some of these lines. It's gapping with the rest of the chips. Even Nvidia, I believe, is gapping a little bit. I'm gonna start hitting some resistance on this one. 41.94 to $42. Pretty bearish. I do have one level lower. This is $40.66. So right now, all of this chip movement, it could be faded still. Somewhere as close as possible to $42. The other thing I do want to check on this one is let's see if we can get a fib on this. Let's see how far back this pullback went. It got us past the 50, not quite at the 41. Oh, at the 41. Coffee break. This moment is sponsored by Folgers. $40.66. So that takes us to the 618 if we get down there. Otherwise, 1, 2, inside day, 3, third day is a bearish engulfing candle. I think some people might be looking to take a little bit of profit, but if you've missed this original pop, you are at that 50% retracement. You're going to find some bulls around here. So it's not going to be the easiest short, I don't think. If you do short it, first stop would be about 41.28, which is essentially the lows of yesterday, and then coming into that 40.66. That's where I would personally take some profit. The only other thing we could do on this one, if you want to make a case to stay in this thing longer, would really be throwing your fib all the way down there. That's really where this move started, and that would give you a wider range. So that's going to take you into the 100 on the daily simple moving average. That's 37.32. And then the 50% is all the way still down here. And if you're making it a little bit wider, if you're not looking for just and I think this is probably more than likely, this is going to be our 1, our 2, that's our 3. And the question is this entire pullback 4, 5, or is this really just continuation? We didn't really break down anything. I would say that's still the 3. I think this takes you as the 4, and then look for at least one more pop. I think that's more likely to happen than just to have us crater down. But you're kind of in no man's land on Intel right now. If the chips get going again, if AI gets going, if anything like that starts to move, and the big names start to pick up, which maybe they've all pulled back a decent amount, then Intel's going to push with it for right now. I think Nvidia, Intel's at least put itself back in the game, which is good. I already have this fib here, so let's take a look at why I drew this in the first place. We almost got down to the 50% retracement. Again, not a great close. We have a little bit of a gap up, not as much as AMD though. So I think there's still a little selling pressure on Nvidia. Let's see if this one wants to come down a little bit further to the higher side. If we're playing nothing but risk to reward on this, well, I would say probably 452.45, somewhere in that zone is going to be where your initial stop is. That would also take you right below that last previous VPOC, which has been tested. That is now a little bit more likely to break down. To the higher side of things, 463.27 will take us to the higher side. So this does give us a lot more bullish range for right now. Chart doesn't look that bullish. It looks like we probably have the ability to come down and I really, yeah, we bounced off this one. If we start to break this VPOC right here, which we've already retested once, there's nothing really stopping us down until the next range of like 438.70. So from a risk to reward purpose, it might be something to consider down here to go bullish. And again, the bars, the chart, nothing tells you like now is the exact time, but looking somewhere in this range might give you a little bit of opportunity. Huge double top. There's going to be big resistance if we get back to this 500 range again. This looks like a failed head and shoulders. So there's the left, there's the head, there's the right. We even did break down. That turned into a little trap, and now we're starting to make new higher highs. So I think still buying the dip on NVIDIA makes sense. The question is, where's the dip? If we're just using the fibs, it could be a little bit lower. Could get scary. Otherwise, if you want to try to capture maybe like this is wave, if this breakout was wave 1, this is 2, capturing somewhere around here, and then you get one more big push on this one. Could make some sense too. I'll keep it on the list again. The bars themselves are not giving me a reason to go long yet, and we do have a lot of resistance above us, but the range is not horrible. It's not horrible. Chewy, what happened, Chewy? What happened to people's pets? Are they not eating? They're not eating anymore. That's it. Feed your pets. Buy some Chewy. Yeah, they had a pretty big miss again. So surprise beat or surprise miss to the downside. They missed by 2 pennies, which is 36%. They also surprise missed on revenue. This is a complete bearish gap. However, you're at sitting right at some key support. So pretty big gap down. Watch for like 1682. If that starts to break down, I think then we have the ability to go lower into essentially all-time lows. All-time lows, not even 52 week. Yep. Not a good look. Not a good look. This is our last saving grace on Chewy. I would imagine we got down there before. We had a pretty awesome rip from there. Watch that key support. I think this one more likely fades than breaks down. And I think looking to go higher, even though this is a big gap and go. Question now is where's the ranges? I think we could at least get to like 1748. If we stretch it and we have a crazy retest, maybe 1843, but risk to reward, stop right down here somewhere, 1651. You're getting in very close to probably opens. It's about $17, so you have about 50 cents risk. 2 R's on the trade would take you up about $1, so that's $18. We would have to break through at least 2 of those VPOCs to get there, but it is doable. And then even for 1.2, you're looking at probably 75 cents. So 1775, somewhere in that range. You got to get through 1 VPOC. So you have some potential in this one, just again as a pure risk to reward play. Maybe that double bottom holds, and this is where we start to turn, but not great earnings on Chewy. Not yet, not so far. Costco. The Co. My brother-in-law calls it the Co. Like, hey, I'm going to the Co. You want anything? And I've never wanted anything ever. I've never ordered anything from him. I've never taken advantage of his generosity on his trips, but he just likes to say the word Co, I think. I think he thinks he's cool. The Co is breaking out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Let's see if we get a small little retest. There's not much volume. We got to go to the weekly, see if there's any volume up there. No, we're at almost pretty much essentially 52-week highs. And I would look for more continuation, but see if there's a small pullback first somewhere. I wouldn't take this thing right at open. Even like a little high wave indecision candle would be fantastic. Even on the weekly, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. He's been going to the Co way too much. That's what this chart tells me. That's why he keeps asking. Homemade dog food. I don't think Chewy's not giving you homemade anything, but they're giving you delivery. They'll deliver it to your door. I don't see how that's different than Amazon, because I think you could also, it's not like Amazon's banning dog food. So I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not positive. That's it. That's all the tickers. Oh, okay. Whew. Man, that's crazy. All right, we got 2 that came in. We got MasterCard and we got Tesla. The Tesla. MasterCard, 0 gap at open, really just range bound. We're doing a little bit of a bullhorn. Man, I can't speak today. If anybody understands me, we'll go to therapy together. This is a bullhorn. So we're making newer, higher highs, lower lows, and you're smack dead in the middle of that. So flip a coin. Flip a coin on this one. It's not really moving. Pretty much outside this range. We do have one level right here. This is 410.35, 410.48. So if we start to break under, look for a retest. I don't think it's gonna be huge today. Yesterday was a retest gap, so this would be my case. Left the bullhorn. This would be your lower end. So we just hit the lower end of that. Yesterday, even though it's a red candle, it is a retest candle. So there was actually some bullish momentum on this one. I would prefer to stay long if I had to. Again, you're smack in the middle of everything. Maybe throw your stops at the low of yesterday, and see if we can make one new higher high, and just see if that bullhorn kind of continues until we actually make a break. But um, Peter said you flipped the coin, you got heads. All right, all right. But the other key to that is you got to tell me if heads is bullish or bearish. You can't just tell me heads because now I'm still just equally as confused. But yeah, it's tough. It would for me have to come lower. I think it's got a little more bullish edge to it. We got Tesla. Tesla's been struggling. We got 244.23. Major volume. Not able to get through there yet. Looks like we are at least gapping up a little bit. We got yesterday's VPOC sitting right at 242.77. We got also tweezer tops on Tessie, and we'll see. Yesterday again, it was the whole day was a big retest. We came down, we did retest, we closed a little bit lower than I would like to see, so maybe we trap in a couple bears, but we're just absolutely range bound on this one. If we do push higher, my initial target, at least where I would take something, would be this VPOC 242.77. See if we get a little higher. I would look to take a little more 243.98. I would look to take a little bit more at these tweezers, 246.58. But at this point, if I've already taken three little partials, I would almost just rather move my stops, see if we could break those tweezers. If we could get past those tweezers, then I think we have a decent push, especially if we're now closing anywhere above this 244 zone. If we close above 244, I most rather just say, forget it. I'll either just pretty much take my I'll get stopped out or trailed out, and then or break through and sit through a bigger run. But there is two key spots ahead of us. He said heads is bullish. All right. Whew. Now we got the direction. Campbell Soup was up. I always forget their ticker. CM. Let me type this. Campbell. You could tell how much I. There we go. CPB. That's what it is. Woo. Good breakout yesterday. Looks like we're gapping up about 2 pennies at open. Big resistance probably coming in at 43.56, so about 30 cents to the higher side. That was a good breakout. See if we can get a little pullback. I'm gonna put this one on the list. Yeah, anytime I'm at the store looking for soup, there's so many options, and I'm like, do I want the condensed stuff that doesn't really do anything for me, or should I just buy soup? I end up buying soup. But yeah, good breakout. Was that on earnings? Yeah, earnings play. See if this one fades. See if this one comes back down a little bit, and then maybe somewhere closer to about 42.39 might be an interesting spot to buy. Bigger resistance, about $46. So there's some room there, but it's not an easy task to get. There's some moving averages and some other levels to come in on that one. But that was a fantastic run for Campbell Soup. Probably one of the biggest ones they've ever had in their lives, besides just gap downs. So all good. Bell's about to ring. Man, I didn't even realize we got about 10 seconds left. Everybody on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. The like one, in case you guys don't know, is a little thumbs up button. It's got a nice little collar. The hand must be wearing a suit or something. I'm not sure. But that's the button. You can hit that one and subscribe. Check out Real Life Trading. We do have plenty of free education as well. Campbell Soup is opening right above that VPOC. So watch it, see if that's support. Maybe we do get some continuation today on it. We will see. As a day trade, volume might be a little light on that one, but you guys are incredible. I'll catch all of you guys later. Later, team.